Hi guys, it's George here, and I have another UFile 2020 video for you. And what this video will be about is basically employment expenses, and in particular employment expenses which you are able to claim because of the COVID pandemic. A lot of people have been waiting for this, so I'll go right ahead and get into the meat of the topic and show you how you can use UFile 2020 in order to claim this. So this is not a beginner's tutorial where I actually show you how to start a file from start to finish. I really want to go to the heart of the matter and get it all set up right away. So once you've completed your interview section and your basic information, you need to go to interview setup. When you go to interview setup, you have to check off employment expenses. And then over here, the employment section will pop up and you'll have three uh, three flags here, or arrows in red. They're called new. And there's three options you can choose. You can choose um, employment expenses, working at home due to COVID-19, temporary flat rate. And I'll try and explain all three. Now, with a flat rate, what it is it's a lump sum amount of up to $400. Now, you really need to note that you can claim this amount only for the days that you were required to work at home. Um, it's not clear to me if your employer gave you the option to work in the office, but you chose to stay at home, whether you can claim that or not. Now, it is important to get a T2200S from your employer. Now, you can't find this form in UFile because it has to be certified and completed by your employer. Um, so, with that said, if you do have a T2200S and it's certified by your employer that you had to work at home, then there are certainly some expenses you can claim. Now, if you choose this option, and which is the flat rate, okay, and that's the option I already have done. Here you go. And basically, what UFile will do is ask you if you had to work at least 4 consecutive weeks in 2020 at home due to COVID-19. You answer yes, and then you note the number of days you worked. Now, let me give you an example of how I got 152. It's completely hypothetical, but here's how I did this calc. Okay, I took 20 days per month, starting in March. It could have been for some sooner, it could have been later. So that's 9 months. It's 180. Let's subtract 15 days of vacation. You get 165. And then the remainder could be sick days or personal days, whatever that remainder might be. So minus 152. I calculate another 13 days off, 10 sick days and 3 personal days. So I get 252. So basically, you need to tell UFile exactly how many days you worked in that period of time that you were required to work at home. You actually did work there. In other words, you have to exclude your vacation days and any other day you didn't show up to work. So you get, as it states somewhere around here, $2 per day. Okay, and you work more than 50% of your time from home for a period of at least 4 consecutive weeks. Let's see what UFile does in this case. Okay, this is a pre-prepared return, so we're just going to look at the form that is produced and how ultimately everything is claimed on your return. Okay. So the form I'm looking for is the T77S. It's right down here. Very interesting form. There we go. All right, statement of employment expenses for working at home. Temporary flat rate method is the option we choose. 152 times 2 gives you a deduction of $304, okay? And we got to claim this on line 22,900 of your T1 return. Similarly, if you live in Quebec, it automatically does the Quebec return for you, and the Quebec equivalent to the T77S is the TP59.S, and the calculation is basically the same. The form in Quebec has a little bit lower font, but if we look at the federal form, now there is a what they call a harmonization agreement, or in French a concordance between the two methods between federal and Quebec. So if you do the federal, it'll do the Quebec automatically if you live in Quebec. If you live in Ontario or any other province, you only need the T77S, and good thing to get your T2200S certified by your employer. Now the type of eligible expenses are listed here. Office and home expenses, rent paid for a house or an apartment where you live, electricity, water, heat, utilities, a portion pertaining to your unit only if you live in a condo, maintenance, minor repairs, not repairs that are increase the value of your home, minor repairs, okay? Restoring, yeah, well, not restoring things actually. It's actually minor repairs, plumbing, minor plumbing because of a pipe leak. There's more to that in more guidance in the rental guide if you want. Home internet access fees, office supplies, stationery, pens, folders, sticky notes, toner, postage, pencils, employment use of basic cell phone service plan. But whenever you're considering these expenses, they have to be net of any reimbursement from your employer. Okay, property taxes, home insurance, and lease of a cell phone, computer, laptop, but not the cost of a computer, right? It's only if you've leased these that reason will relate to your commission income. Now, these expenses are for commission salesmen. Okay, so how would you earn commission and work at home? Well, you could be doing phone work. On the other hand, also you could be virtually selling something from a virtual showroom. So there you have it. But keep in mind, this is for employees, not self-employed people, right? Self-employed people, the rules are slightly different, and you could probably claim capital probably. You will be, as a self-employed person, you can claim capital expenses. So again, what's not eligible here? Capital cost allowance, which is depreciation, mortgage interest or principal mortgage payments, capital expenses, and they give you a few examples here. Office equipment, fax machines, briefcases, laptops, printers, desks, chairs, monthly basic rate for landline telephone, okay, cell phone connection or license fees, purchase of cell phone, laptop, a computer accessories, other electronics, furniture, and desk. There you go. All right, so this gave me an amount of what was it, $304? There you go. Where is it going to appear on your return? It's going to appear on your return on right here as a deduction to total income, and it will reduce your net income. Great. Quebec as well. Similar item. It's a deduction. How much savings did you get on this deduction? Let's see if I can calculate this using UFile. If you go to Interview and then scroll down to Controls right here, there's a question asking you if you want to do your marginal tax calculation right there. Say yes. Okay, and now go back to your tax return. What UFile will do in this case, it will produce a marginal tax calculation, and let's see where that appears. There are the checklists, worksheet. There you go. It's a two-page form, and basically my marginal tax rate is 0. So in this case, there was 0 savings. Now, if you take um, the federal marginal tax rate and your provincial marginal tax rate, add the two, multiply it by the deduction you took, that will give you your total savings on your employment office and employment expenses. Now, back to interview. Let's say you're not interested in claiming the flat rate amount. You want $400. You felt that you spent more money on these expenses. What do you do? Okay, let's go to back to the employment expenses here, right? Let's delete this. Okay. Now I'm going to do one of these two. All right. Employment expenses, working at home for commission income. The only difference between commission income and employee earning income is you can claim the three other expenses there for that are not otherwise available for an employee. In certain cases, it's more advantageous to claim it also as an employee, um, because if you claim the extra commission expenses and you haven't earned enough commission income, then your expenses might be limited to your commission income, whereas here they're not. Okay, so let's go to employment expenses for employee. Name of your employer or partnership, let's say ABC Inc. QST number, if you're working in Quebec. If you're not, you have nothing to worry about. Address of employer, 123 my street, my city, Quebec of course, H3M4N5. There you go. Name of contact person, Miss Julie Contact. There's no N in contact. Great. 438, a fictitious number. Oops, let's put that there in the proper column, in the proper row rather. There. Name of employer or person authorized to form. Let's say it's the same person, or Miss Julie, employer. Okay. Title, manager. Beginning duties, 01/01/2020 and 31/12. Oops, let's go back and put 31/12/2020. Employer's title, employee's title, sales, um, support agent. Yeah, support agent sounds good. Employee's duties, support clients, of course. Let's see, postage and supplies. All right, so we can put some miscellaneous there, 320. Travel expenses, no. Description of other, no need for that. Allowance, no. Other, employee income for the calculation of office, let's say 15,800. Claim the GST rebate on these expenses only if your employer is registered and eligible for this. And now you could get a small rebate back for your employment expenses, but the following year they'll be added back in your income. So let's go straight to office expenses here. All right, percentage of home being used for personal purposes. For the purposes of this calculation, I'm going to play conservative and play, say, 92%. You have to determine this in some reasonable manner. Most people do it on square footage. What percentage of the square footage of your home is being used exclusively for business? If it's further used for personal, you can do it on square footage and time. So Uh, Perhaps you're able to see my background here. This is my gaming room and my office space. So I do use my office space as well for personal as well as for business. Um, so my percentage will be considerably less than most people. So let's put 2400 for heat. It could be a lot more than that. Let's see. Heat and electricity together, let's say 350 per month. And this is being conservative, right? 4200 bucks. That's sounds about right here. Let's say, well, we have heating and electricity together. To be accurate, we heat our home, it's electric, so let's just put that there. Okay. Insurance premiums, there, 1500. Uh, Maintenance and repairs, put 2500. We do have the receipts. Property taxes, 3500. Okay, telephone. Uh, Telephone. Remember, landline is not we're not eligible for landline. Other taxes. I think this pretty much has is an accurate figure. Okay. All right. So let's see what that gives us. Employment conditions, Quebec. Questions concerning employment conditions. Was the employee required to maintain a home? Yes. Okay. Did the employee's duties on employment contract require the employee to incur expenses to earn income or to incur expenses working remotely? Yeah, let's say yes. Okay. Did the employee have to pay supplies? Yes. Did you or you will reimburse? No. If yes, are the amounts reimbursed to the employee included in box? Let's say no. Okay. We've done everything. Let's see what this gives us in terms of a deduction. Okay, let's get to the source of the matter. Although I'm clicking on page 4 of the return, what is actually sent to the government if you are paper filing is the condensed. Uh, I always recommend net file over paper file in any case. Here you got an amount of other employment expenses in the amount of $1,256. Based on your home being used for personal at a rate of 92% and only 8% business. So this is quite a deduction. Of course, if this taxpayer was uh, taxable and the deductions were the same, it appears to be more profitable to use the detailed method. Now, if you are using the detailed method, you have to keep the receipts of all these expenses and be able to produce them after you file the return. So usually the people that request the returns from the federal government is the T1 the T1 processing review section, and usually they send out a letter to your address saying, okay, we want to see these expenses A, B, and C. They could be medical, donations, some office and the home expenses. Send us in your receipts. They do an examination. If the numbers add up, what you declared and what you have on paper are the same, then they send back you send back your receipts, and that's the end of the story. Your file is closed, and you get to keep whatever refund you were owed. If that's not the case, if you have a shortfall in receipts relative to the amount that you have declared, you will be reassessed. So let's see. Let's take a look at the actual form, how it's filled out by UFile. There it is, T77S. So in this case, there's nothing here for the temporary flat rate method. However, here's your office and the home expenses. Okay. Now, if you want a reminder of what you can claim and can claim, it's written right on the form in black and white. CRA reminds us what is what is applicable in each situation. Remember, there is a difference between a commission salesman and a regular employee. However, if you haven't earned a lot of commission, you may want to forego claiming these expenses so you can claim the full amount of these expenses. Right? Okay. And here you have it. Here's how everything's calculated. And there's an amount to be carried forward to next year. And that kind of begs the question, if we're out of this mess in 2021, if we're out of this pandemic in 2021, um, how will this carry forward work? Well, we're still a month into 2021, and at least here in Canada, we don't expect to be fully vaccinated until September. So we're not out of the woods yet. So UFile will carry forward this amount of unused expenses to be used against your income next year. Whoops, what does it say here? Workspace and the home expenses available to use in future years. It's 0. Oh well. All right. Enter amount on line 3 and any of the lines 207 and 212 of your returns relating to this income. Total expenses. Enter your employment use amount. 936. Okay. And let's take a quick look at Quebec as well. Here it is. There you go. And the TP59. TP64, here it is. Here it is. That's the calculation. So there you have it, folks. It's going to be a very interesting tax year. I wish you all the best with tax season. Stay healthy, stay safe, and tally up those receipts as accurately as you can. And don't forget to keep records in a safe place. Take care, and thank you for watching.